What's up?
You gotta like finish your line.
Welcome back to the juice, man. We're back, man. I think we're doing all right.
Yeah, this will be 3 weeks in a row. We don't have like a schedule. It's not like we're uploading every Tuesday or Wednesday.
No.
Dude, people like that?
What's that?
Like a schedule? I'm just impressed we did it 3 weeks in a row. Like
Yeah,
I'll upload this one
think,
tomorrow, which would be Friday. Today is Thursday.
I think in general we probably should just be, knocking out like multiple podcasts a week. But
yeah.
maybe that's something for the future. Maybe that's something. Maybe that's something for the future that we can do, considering that. considering that we'll probably be around here.
We'll have some more time. Are we gonna do that now? Or are we gonna do that in another episode?
Well,
I'm sure it'll come up in conversation.
It's
been a rough couple weeks for us. I feel like.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of them deals. I don't think it would take long to talk about it for a second, but we'll probably dive into it later on. But
as of right now, I'm staying home.
Yeah, well, staying home in a sense, I guess.
It's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I think in a way, my plan is to still travel, like when I can and when I can afford to. But, things come up, and things happen, and you got to just do what you can with what you got in the moment. That's really the best way to explain it. And
yeah,
it ain't like I'm losing guys and stuff. It's just losing my support system or anything. It's just that the timeliness of it and stuff, and just the way that these people, the deposits that people want such an early fashion.
They like release the schedules and they're like, oh, by the way, deposits are due in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
it's like, cool.
It's
it's on us to know that it's pretty typical. They deposits are due sometime in November, so we know that going into it. We know we need to be on our sponsorship game, but I say we save this for an episode and kind of talk about what our plans are. I know nothing's definitive yet, but
that is true. Yeah, it could change in a split second.
There's still some time. Maybe I'll walk outside in the woods to go hunting and find a bag of money.
Yeah.
Probably not, but.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think for me too, like my opinions and my views have changed, so.
Yeah. Well.
And that's part of it. Like that's, I didn't, going into fishing this year, fishing the invitationals, I didn't promise myself anything past that. I just promised myself to finish them and evaluate it afterwards. So.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy that I went and did it. No regrets there, but
no regrets.
But things are changing. They're changing quickly, and sometimes
they're going to change again.
Sometimes you just got to kind of put your foot down and go with what you believe. And I think everybody's paths and everybody's stories in the fishing world are different, so you can't judge anything off of what anybody else has done or anybody else's opinions. You got to do what's best for you as in the moment. But, year by year, it is year to year we're doing this. A lot of guys that do this understand that it's year to year.
Yeah, once you start, there's no guarantee you're going to keep going down.
There is no 5-year, $200 million contract. You're not a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Year to year.
Like, this is year to year, and you just got to kind of roll with it. That's if you want to do it, you just got to roll with it. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. Well, before we talk about our guests we're going to have on, and I want to give a shout out to your boy there, Chad.
Chad Mrazek taking home the big dub over at Table Rock.
Yeah, last episode we had Travis Harriman on.
And he ended up doing really well in that event.
Yeah,
he finished top 10.
Yeah, he finished well. He finished final day. I think he was like 5th going into the final day. He did well as you predicted. Old Chad.
Chad pulled it off, man. And
huge win.
It really feels good to see. Like, I'm not saying that other guys don't deserve to win and stuff. I'm sure everybody that wins has their own, I'm not saying nobody deserves, but man, really just knowing Chad and knowing how he's came up feels good to see somebody win like that. Like that truly has had to work so hard when like odds stacked against you, but still come out and have a win like that. And we're actually going to have Chad on in person pretty soon. So
I think it'd be fun to hear his story. And just how dude, his world just changed. That's one of those wins. It's not a Toyota Series victory. It's not an Open victory, which is they're both huge, and they have
Yeah.
there's advantages in
It's a championship
pluses,
win. 200. It's over $200,000 win.
It's probably one of the top 3 tournaments you want to win.
I think it's the third biggest tournament that exists.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as
if you were to list the biggest tournaments you could possibly win, it'd be in the top 3.
Yeah, I would have to say so.
Monumental. Would look forward to having him on.
I'm really interested to see what's changed on like the business side though. Because me and Chad, because so far me and I don't know how much has changed, and it's kind of it's crazy because I have seen guys hit big wins. The title that some of the guys won, the pro circuit title event.
Yeah.
I don't think it really is. Now the money is for sure it changes a lot. Yeah. But as far as like the win itself, I'm very interested to see that because I know some guys that have won that event that really, as far as a business side of things, didn't change a ton of stuff for them. So I'm really interested to see. I hope, which, he's done a really good job. He already has some stuff set in place before he ever won that tournament. So he's got it really going. He's got it going on.
Yeah, he does. He's got it going on. He's been out there grinding.
So
speaking of somebody that's deserving of accomplishments, our guest today is none other than John Garrett.
John Garrett just, I don't know. Do you know what he finished in the points?
Second
overall in the Bassmaster Opens EQ.
In probably the record season for points.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been confirmed,
this was this the first year that you had to fish all 9?
First year you had to fish all 9.
So, monumental type year, like historic year, really, when it comes to the Bassmaster and the Open. So for him to, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I know a ton about John Garrett because I don't. All I do know is that I fished against him in college a little bit, which was a pretty good while ago now. And, I just knew that he's been grinding on the Opens and that he made it. And
yeah, he's a deserving guy. He's always kind of been one of those names that's at the top of the list in the Opens. I know he's come close before, and we'll get into all that with him, but want to have him on and let him tell his story and kind of talk about the Open some more and the Elites. So,
yeah. I got some stuff I want to touch on after, like, towards the end of the show that I want y'all to stay tuned for.
Oh.
Just something for the
end. Oh, you put a cliffhanger out there already.
Just some realities. I just want to talk about some realities after we're done.
Sounds like you want to get some stuff off your chest.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Well, we'll have a little therapy session after John comes on, but let's go ahead and get him. I know he's waiting, and should be a good conversation. Good dude too. We've gotten to know each other a little bit this year.
Yeah, I'm interested. Get to know him a little better.
Hello.
Is this Bassmaster Elite Series Pro John Garrett?
I believe so.
Man, how does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds pretty crazy, honestly.
Yeah.
Not sure how to take that in yet, really.
Yeah, is it even hitting home yet, or is it still kind of like you're in shock that you're there?
It hasn't really hit yet. I wouldn't really say in shock. It's just like after that last tournament, like went into scramble mode, trying to pick up sponsors, raise a little money, and get all that stuff lined up.
Yeah, quick turnaround. Very quick, very quick turnaround.
Yeah,
and it really is.
No doubt. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Man, one thing we like to do with people that come on, we kind of want to start at the beginning. Like to hear your story and kind of what was your upbringing. Did you grow up bass fishing? How did you get into this trap that I call professional bass fishing?
Yeah, it definitely is a trap, for sure. No, but it just kind of started at a really young age. I had a very outdoorsy family. My granddad owned a marina. My dad worked there, and I grew up in Northwest Tennessee, so we had like really good duck hunting, deer hunting, turkey hunting, and we lived right on Rosefoot Lake, and hour from Kentucky Lake, hour and a half from Pickwick. So like just a real rich area for like an outdoorsman. Luckily, my family was, like I said, very outdoorsy. So right off the rip at 4, 5, 6 years old, my granddad was taking me out. If it was not hunting season, he was taking me fishing every weekend, and just got ate up with it. And really good bass fisherman. He knows a ton, so it was just kind of a good environment growing up because he brought me into it clearly the right way. You know, he took me on days that were nice, took me on days we were catching fish. It was like right off the bat, it wasn't like boring. You know what I mean? So it's like he hit it home. Like he did very well with that right from the start. So that's how I got into it.
Heck yeah! Oh, mostly bass, or did you kind of do everything?
Yeah, we did mostly all bass. I mean, we did some cool stuff like other than bass. Like when the Mississippi River got low, we'd go catch giant catfish. He really liked the crappie fish, but dude, he was an awful crappie fisherman. I'll tell him that he stuck to crappie. We never caught any crappie, but he loved to go. And that's when I'm like, all right, Paul, like we got to drop this crappie fishing because first off, we don't ever catch anything and it's cold. So,
that's funny.
But mostly bass fishing, yeah.
There you go. So is he kind of the one that got you into the tournament thing too, or is that something you kind of picked up on your own?
Yeah, for sure. So he was he fished at the club level, like the Bass Nation tournaments, and he never really took as far as like going to the team championship or anything. But our area had what's called the Real Foot Lake Bass Club, and my time frame, you know, from when I was 8 to 14, there was a lot of other grandkids and kids of that first generation of Real Foot Lake Bass Club. So they started a junior bass club. So that's where kind of my first tournaments was in that, you know, TBF and Bass Nation, like junior tournaments, like qualifiers, junior state tournaments, like world championships, like that kind of stuff. That started when I was about 8 and, you know, had some success at that age. And then when I got into high school, like in 2012, maybe when I was a sophomore, me and my granddad and a couple other people that worked at the school kind of started our high school fishing club, and we were fishing like the first ever like Bassmaster high school events, regionals, the first ever Bassmaster high school classic. So it was rather small when I was in high school, like 50 to 70 boats at most of those tournaments, not like 500 like you see now. Yeah, it's crazy now, but no, I mean I was literally got started like the very first like start of the high school fishing, and I had at that point really no like hard interest in pursuing like professional bass fishing. I had a little success my last year of high school fishing, and that summer I was working in my granddad's marina, and the coach at Bethel University, Gary Mason, just like rolled up in there and offered me a scholarship, and I was kind of like, well,
dang.
Didn't really even, you know, going to college wasn't really a thought of mine. But I was like, heck, I'll try it, you know, and didn't really think, because at that point Bethel was kind of like a powerhouse of college fishing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even know if I got what it takes to fish these guys, but I'll try it, you know. And kind of a side story here. My freshman year, I ended up taking that scholarship route, and my freshman year, the very first tournament on Kentucky Lake, I zeroed the first day.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh God. And they were chewing. Like everybody caught 20 pounds. I'm like, oh my gosh.
No.
Here we freaking go. I'm about to get my teeth kicked in for 4 years, you know. But no, it turned around after that. But yeah, so I, you know, went through college fishing, and that was really cool, man. That's where I learned so much about bass fishing was through that. And we had some really good guys there. I had, you know, Cole Floyd and Carter McNeil and Cody Huff, Garrett Enders and KJ Queen, and like just so many like just you know,
that's 3 of y'all in the elites right there now.
Yeah, it was just an insane class of fishermen, and we all came from different areas,
Right.
Yeah.
and we all had different techniques, and we're by Kentucky Lake during like the end of its heyday. So it's like when we went somewhere, we all worked together, and man, being able to break a lake down
Yeah.
and just learn so many different techniques, area wise from other people. It was pretty crazy how much knowledge we soaked up off of each other.
Sure. Yeah. Feeding off each other and learning off each other. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when did the kind of dream start to form as far as, let's see how far we can take this thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna say my freshman year of college, I won the college classic bracket, qualified for the classic. And even when I won that tournament, it wasn't really a thought. I was in this mindset like, man, let me go fish the classic. Let me enjoy it. Yeah, I was like, I'm just going to enjoy it. Like, I already knew that I had no chance of winning. Like, I was 18 or 17, 18, I don't know how old I was. And,
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to win this tournament. Like, I'm just going to go and have fun and fish hard and enjoy it. And me soaking in that process of the classic experience, I was like, dude, like, this is legit. Like, that was freaking awesome. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing that again.
Yeah.
And after my freshman year of college, that's kind of when I was like, started investing time in bass fishing, studying it, like trying to get as good as I can get. And it helped that I had those guys that went to college with me that were really good as well, and they had the same motivation. Like, we all were like pushing to be really good through college. So I'd say after I fished a classic, I was like, let's see if I can do that.
Yeah.
Let's test with it.
You wanted to get back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Heck yeah. So then you finish up your college career, and then you decide to go opens. I guess, you kind of answered already, but I guess since you started fishing Bassmaster in high school and college, was FLW or MLF even a thought for you, or your home was bass and that was where you were going?
Yeah. When I won that college classic bracket, like, I felt like, I don't know, when I won bass, like, kind of treated me right then. Just, I mean, it don't matter who won that tournament. Like, I qualified for the classic. They paid my entry to 9 opens in 2017, and gave me a truck and boat. Like, when I won that, I'm like, dang, and I got treated well after winning that tournament. So I just felt like I was going to stick with bass.
Yeah.
And in 2017, I fished the opens. I barely missed the elites through the Central Division, and I took a couple years off to graduate school. And I will say, like, after my first full year fishing the opens, I was out of college, and I realized what kind of like financial strain that put on me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did think about, like, man, like, should I fish the FLW tour? Should I try this or that? Because, like, we were it kind of all equivalent. Like, I don't know. It's kind of all equal on, like, what you pay for entry fee versus what your checks are. But in my head at the time, I was like, man, like, I would rather be fishing for $10,000 checks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same breath, I'm like, well, hell, God, can I afford $5,000 entry fee?
Yeah.
Just, so I just stuck with the opens, not because of the payout, but just basically because it was a little cheaper entry fee.
Sure.
And I won that college classic bracket. So that's about the only reason I stuck with the opens, because no matter what route I went into, it was a financial risk. So I would just kind of stick to where I was.
Yeah. So when you started fishing the opens in 2017, did you fish all of them, or were you just fishing, like, picking one division, or were you like?
Yeah. So when you win that college deal, at that time you like sign a contract saying you're going to attempt to fish all the opens, and you got to drive the truck and boat they supply and all that kind of stuff. So in 2017, I fished all the opens except 2. So I think I don't know if there's 8 or 9 that year. I can't remember how the divisions were set up, but I fished 6 or 7 of the tournaments in 27.
Were you what? When did you graduate college?
I graduated in 2019.
Okay, so you were in school when you did the opens.
Yeah, I was in school full time, and so that was a year because I had a contract signed to fish the opens, and they were already paid for, so it was kind of hard for me not to.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I had to fish at least X amount of tournaments through Bethel to keep my scholarship, and I had to pass X amount of classes to get my scholarship.
Yeah, that's kind of
dude.
That's a lot.
It was an insane year. Yeah, for sure.
I can't imagine. So I fished for Stephen F. Austin around the same. Me and him were like pretty much on the same track. Came in, fished in 2014 in college, graduated in 18. So we were like, I remember clear as day. You know, like the Bethel team, and that was like he said when college was really getting fired up. Like it really wasn't huge until those second or third years in.
And everybody was out there getting run over by Bethel.
Well. As if I held their own a little bit.
I'm just messing.
It definitely. I mean, they were one of the few scholarship schools that existed at that time. Like there wasn't very many scholarship schools like that existed. So
that's nuts.
Yeah, but that's a lot to juggle. That's kind of like a counterintuitive for Bassmaster. You know what I'm saying? Like you got this kid in college, but you're paying for all their opens, and you expect them to be there based on a contract. It's like. Dang, that's a lot.
Drop out of school,
yeah.
For sure. Well, until that point, there had only been seniors that had won that tournament. So, like, it had worked out perfect for everybody, and no one had ran into that problem until I won that tournament. And then I had to reach out to these people, hey, like, dude, like, I'm not doing good points, and I got a final this week.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to make it, you know. So, that I was their first problem. I'll say that. So
yeah, I can imagine. So you fished the Opens at 17. You didn't get back into them until what year?
2020, I believe.
Okay, so you finished college.
Yeah, got you.
Yes, finished college. Yeah.
Okay, and then in 2020, when you signed up, did you do all of them? I don't remember, man. They changed so much. I remember. Was 2020 the year they had 4 in each division?
I don't remember.
I can't. Yeah, so that in 2020 they had 4 in each division. That was the first year they did it overall. They took top 4 in both divisions and top 4 overall that year.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Because it was 12.
Yeah, and that was the first Open I fished was 2020, and it was COVID year, and they rescheduled Rayburn for September.
Yeah,
because of COVID.
I got you. So that's the one. What was the Japanese name?
Matsuyuki Matsushita?
Yeah, he came to Rayburn and put it on. Put it on the locals. Yeah.
He kicked our behinds.
I got you. Yeah, that's all coming together now.
Yeah. You still there?
Yeah, that was a tournament. Mizuki and Josh Douglas.
Yep.
Gleason had a big bag that tournament.
Yep.
That was a. I got my teeth kicked in that tournament, so I remember everybody that did good.
Yeah, man, that was it was a weird smash fest for September.
In 2020, you said you fished both divisions?
I did.
Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
And
and then since then I fished all the tournaments. So that was my first full year of the Opens was in 2020.
Yeah. And so I hadn't pulled up all your stats, but were you kind of close every year, or did you have any kind of off?
I was, so like, it kind of makes my blood boil talking about this, but like in 2017, I fished most of the tournaments. I fished all the Central Division, and I'll tell you the whole story here, but like our first term of the year was on Table Rock, and I forgot my box of Seaguar line at the house. And before the tournament, me and my granddad went to Bass Pro Shop to buy a fishing line, and y'all know that the Seaguar was expensive,
Yeah.
I mean, all fishing was expensive. I was like, man, I really want to buy this again. Well, I didn't, and I bought some Lew's. I bought some Lew's fluorocarbon from Bass Pro Shop. It was like, I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just get this. It was kind of like mid-range. Like, it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't expensive. So I pulled all my rods up the night before and broke everything off. I couldn't even catch one on a dirt bait. Like, I broke everything off. Went back to Bass Pro Shop, bought the cheap cigar, bought some Red Label.
Yeah.
And the next day, I had like 13 pounds. I finished like mid-40s, whatever.
Which isn't bad.
Do real good. Yeah, do real good the second one. I had like a top 10 at Sabine River. And then the last tournament of the division was at Grand Lake. After day one at Grand Lake, I was sitting in the top 10, had literally no thoughts whatsoever about fishing the Elite Series. I was still in college, just trying to cut a check in the tournament. And Ronnie Moore texted me, and he was like, hey, are you going to take the elite invite if you get it? And I'm like,
what do you
I
mean?
don't know. I didn't think about it. And he sent me a screenshot of the points. I was leading the points after day one of the Grand Lake tournament.
Oh, wow.
And my day was a mix of just total randomness. Got 5 bites all day, and was the only thing I was thinking about was to cut a $3,000 check.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think about. And day 2 of the tournament, I checked in at 5:30. Had a super long day. And after Ronnie sent that, my brain starts turning like, dang, what do I need to catch? What do I need to do to like stay in the points? I came up with I need like 5 pounds to make the Elite.
Oh,
I fished from 7:30 to 5:30 and don't take a bite. I don't take a keeper bite all day.
Oh no!
Did not take a bite. I did everything that I thought I could do to catch a fish. Came in, barely missed a check. Went home, sit down, looked at it, and come to find out it had 2 pounds and 12 ounces to make it.
Basically 1 or 2 keepers.
Yeah, so 1 or 2 keepers.
Nuts, dude.
Yeah.
So you zeroed on your last day of that division.
Zeroed on the last day of the division. So fast forward to 2020, I fished all the tournaments, and I came in 5th overall, and they took top 4. And that year they had not came out clear with how they were going to qualify people.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, maybe Jason Christie and Scott Martin, maybe a few of those big names had double qualified or were supposed to double qualify through one division and the overall.
Yeah.
And they had, instead of taking the Easterns and the Southerns, or however the 2 divisions were, first, they took the overalls first. Then they took the Easterns, and then they took the Southerns, and that just means I didn't make it.
First man out.
First man out. So fast forward to 2021, I have a decent year throughout the season, but I had 2 pretty good events in the Southerns. In the Centrals. I had like a 3rd place on Pickwick and like a third in mid-30s on Smith Lake, going into Grand Lake on our last term of the year. So here we go, Grand Lake again. After day 1, I'm sitting in 2nd in the points. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to get this done. Got to get top 3 in points. After I weigh in, and I had like 11 pounds the first day. I catch like 13 on day 2. And it was freaking tough. Like, I just, you're on the water, you're like, everybody's struggling. I'm like, oh, dude. Like, I got it locked up. I weighed them in, latched my boat up, went to the house, and called my wife, talked to my granddad. Cody Huff was rooming with me. He was leading the points. Like, he caught a good bag again at the top 10. And then they wait. forever to update the points.
Yeah.
So me and Cody are eating lunch or eating dinner, and Jay Shakirat and Joseph Webster are like the only two people that caught more than I did on day 2. And they jumped right in there, like right around the same points that I have. But I wasn't sure how many points they had before the tournament. And they updated the points, and I actually had tied for 3rd place. Let me rewind this. I tied in that tournament. I tied for 12th place, lost the tiebreaker, coming 13th, and then I had also tied for 3rd place in the points, and got bumped out by overall weight for the division.
Jesus.
So I had missed out on the Central Division at Grand Lake again by 1 point.
That is ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. So fast forward to. I don't get close in overall. Could have been like 11th in overall. But I get real close in the Northerns. I weighed 4 fish in last day at Chesapeake, and I needed 5 fish to make it. I think I come in like 5th or 6th in points, something like that.
Did you have it on?
No, didn't have it on. Just didn't have the bite, you know. But still, and then your brain gets to run and like, man, like, am I even meant to do this?
Yeah.
Like, am I supposed to do this? And I'm like, I'm going to give it one more go round. And then that led to this year. I had a blessed year this year, but it was like I was a hair short for the 4 years I fished. So
that's insane, dude.
That is like, I don't think you could have wrote that up. Like if somebody
if
wrote
you-
that down in a book, I'd be like,
I know.
that's not
I
true.
know this is like hypothetical, whatever. But like, if you wouldn't have made it this year, you think you would have win again?
no, I was on the fence this year about fishing. But like a couple of my sponsors stepped up a little bit this year, and then I was like, man, like I kind of got to, like I can't just back out. And
Yeah, you come so close.
yeah, and I have a duck guiding business in the winter like that. I still had that going for me. So like my revenue stream was still going, even if I fished or not. I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it again. Like
Yeah.
I almost signed up for the MPFL and just did not fish the Opens again. But I was like, dude, I'm going to give it another year, just see what happens. And I'm glad I did. But I mean,
that's the thing about our industry now is you've got all these just like this other stuff going on. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's so many options. It's kind of like, you know, I'm me personally in that situation. Like, you know, I fished the invitationals this year, and it's like, but there's so many options, man. Like it's craziness. Like I think it's not good.
No, I don't think it's good either. But so, were you a fan of the new format for this year, going all 9, or were you kind of like, I don't really agree with that. I still think you should have divisions.
Man, it's so hard to say. Like, if you're looking at the angler aspect of it, like our side,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that they probably should have stuck with the divisions. I feel like maybe took 3 out of each division, and you know, or maybe 2 out of each division, or however they wanted to do it. But have the division opportunity,
Yeah.
and then have the overall opportunity. And it's so hard to say because they're wanting people that competed all year, well-rounded anglers that would make a good Elite Series pros.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, no matter how they do it, like they did this year, if they did the divisions, you're going to have people that are going to be cut out for it that make it, and you're going to have people that make it that aren't cut out for it. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's a double-edged sword where on their side of it, they're kind of trying to – I see what they're doing. They're trying to, you know, make this hype, make the Opens best they can, like make another tournament trail, kind of like the Bass Pro Tour and the Invitationals. But then again, as far as someone who will be able to fish 3 tournaments and making the Elite Series, unfortunately, that's just not an opportunity anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wish they would have left it that way this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got guys that, you know, like your area, you got Daryl Gleason, like, you know, and then you got some other people that, like, it's their division. They had didn't have to travel that far. They were able to take 3 weeks off of work instead of 9.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Northerns and with every division, that the opportunity is like that for people. Not saying that they left out some of the best anglers, but there's really good anglers that just didn't do it this year just because statistically and financially they just can't make that happen.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, and that's tough, and that's that's kind of something I'm running into. I don't know that I'm going to go till. Actually, I know I'm not right now. I'm not going back next year just because I kind of drew a hard line in the sand of wanted to do the sponsor dollars. I went out there on my own this year and had a decent year, but you got to have sponsor dollars. It's just not I got a family with kids. I can't go deplete all my funds to chase that dream. So it is. I wish it'd be a different decision for me if they would open it back up to divisional.
Oh, 100%. It may change a lot of people's decision.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
No, I see both sides of it, though. I mean, they were selling the whole deal that they wanted elite-ready guys, guys that were committed to traveling all 9 and kind of almost for those that hadn't done it like yourself, show them what that's really like because it was a long season. A lot of travel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And unfortunately, the entire industry, it's a business model.
Yeah.
And we are customers. We are customers. I don't care how you. We work for them. We're employees or customers, however you want to look for it. But at the end of the day, they're doing things to help themselves out.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. If I was in their shoes, I mean, why not help yourself out?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a business, and I can't argue with the points they try to make, but at the end of the day, there's some unfortunate decisions that hurt us anglers. But unfortunately, that's just part of it. So.
Yeah. Well, and there's enough dumb guys like us that are just dumb enough to do it.
Well, yeah, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, we all know. We all know that
do.
We can all do math. We see the payouts. We know, and we understand their businesses and they're in it to make money. This isn't a charity organization. We're just trying to let everybody fish for a living. We get that, but
overall, though, you think there could be better changes for the Opens? I mean, I didn't fish the Opens this year, right? So it's more of a question for you, John, and you, Shane. Really, could there be a potential, at least somewhere down the road, to where they have to cut the field a little bit here? Like these 9 guys that are paying this money to travel across the country, why? These are huge fields. It really is different. It's not like I know what they say that elite ready. Well, it's not a 90 boat tournament. It's not an 80 boat tournament. This is 220. It is different. There is no question about it. It is totally different. It's a madhouse. Y'all saw that this year. I saw it on live. It's a freaking madhouse, dude.
We talked about it numerous times on this podcast. And John, I don't know how you feel, but I always said that 225 is too many and 5 days of practice is too much.
Yeah, for sure. To answer that question is that they have the opportunity to do whatever they want. If they wanted to cut the field to 90 or 100 or 50, they could cut the field to whatever they want and raise the entry fee, and they will sell out full.
Yeah,
no matter what.
100%.
They can make it $10,000 entry fees. There will be 50 people that sign up for it.
Absolutely.
They have the, right now they have the most stable platform. People see that. And I don't know, yesterday or the day before when they opened up the registration for life members, there was probably 150 people at their computer at 8 o'clock in the morning waiting for that to open.
Oh, yeah.
So they have the opportunity to do whatever they want. I don't know how they could sell the Opens in a better way because right now, where they're going next year, Hartwell, when they go to Anderson, South Carolina at the beginning of the year, hey, man, we got 225 pros. We got potentially 225 co-anglers.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking to spend much gas money. They can't have a better sales pitch than that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
When they cut down to however much they want to cut down, that price is going to go down as well. So
sure,
they could do what they want to on our side because we're suckers. We're going to bid into whatever they push. But they have the opportunity to. I don't see them capping the field personally just because of that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're getting more money out of the towns, and they're getting more money off co-anglers.
Yeah, you're right.
There could be some changes for the better for us pro anglers.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening within the near future. I might be wrong. They may change it next year, but I don't know why they would change it.
Right. As far as business goes, you're totally right.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I mean, that's their biggest sales pitch, honestly. I mean, that's straight to the bottom line.
Oh, for sure. And then, maybe what I would like to see happen, I don't know if this answers your question any better, maybe if they want to set up a plan like next year, they take the top 100 in points, you get an automatic invite next year, cut the field in half, double the entry fee, double the payouts with a smaller field. Either get rid of the co-anglers or double their entry fee where they can make more money. But the smaller field is I would love to see it. I don't know if it's going to happen or not.
No, that's you made good points there. I mean, the community money that they raise from local county development districts and whatnot is a big part of their business model. So yeah, they lose that. They lose a substantial amount of revenue. But no, I think in an idealistic world, I think 100 with no co's would be perfect. I don't care what the entry fees were. Hank talked to us at St. Lawrence. He's like, man, we're looking to make some change. If you guys have any suggestions, I told him right there. I said, raise the entry fee, get rid of co-anglers. We'll pay the co-anglers entry fee, and you don't even have to increase our payouts. We'll show up.
Yeah.
And that was a prime example of one that I wish we didn't have co's. I mean, I've had great co's all year. I didn't have any bad apples. Really enjoyed meeting some of these guys, but I don't know if we ever talked about it, but I had 25 pounds a day of smallmouth in my boat.
Yeah.
St. Lawrence.
When you're drifting, yeah.
My co's absolutely kicked my behind because I was drifting backwards. So.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, and like this is what I was talking about earlier, like when you're in a situation like we are, and you're weighing all your options on what to fish. I mean, it's just they all have their goods and bads, you know what I mean? And that's, like the invitationals this year, we didn't have co-anglers, that was a plus, but it is a substantial, difference in entry fee,
Yeah.
But you go back to it's 6 tournaments and not 9. So it's overall you're kind of looking at the same number when you're talking about expenses. It's a lot, I really feel for the guys, like, because I know now, like, what it feels like to be faced with those decisions and really have all those options. It's a lot, like, it's a lot to decipher through and make the best decision. And I don't really want to say there's a wrong answer out there. I mean, it's just hard, to feel like you are making the right call,
Well, luckily John doesn't have to worry about that.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now I don't, but it's like if you look at basically the 3 options out there, there's none of them that shine above others.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's not one that you could look at the top 50 people in AOY and look at their payouts like, dang, this organization over here, the top 50 in AOY made 20 more grand. You just can't look at it like that because, none of them are that much superior to another one. If there was, that's where it'd all be at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I will say, like, it is becoming a little more clear on the stability side.
Oh yeah, Bass has kind of been stable. They've had some changes, but they've definitely been the more stable platform.
Right.
So you talked a little bit earlier about sponsors and some guys stepping up for you in 2023 season to fish the Opens again this year. I mean, I'm curious, and you obviously don't have to get into details, but I noticed you were one of the few guys not running a wrap this year in the Opens, which was that a choice thing just because you didn't want to spend the money and your sponsors didn't require you to do that, or you just didn't really feel like you had the backing?
Yeah, for sure. Like this year, like I talked to all my sponsors up front, and all of them were like, look, like, and the whole like truck and boat wrap, like, don't get me wrong, like me slapping something on the side of my truck doesn't really sell product.
No.
To be to be completely honest, like, yes, that's where you get your impression numbers for the end of your year total miles driven. That's where you get this and that. Like, for a non-endemic sponsor, it looks great when you come at the end of the year, like, hey, dude, like, I had 6 million impressions on my truck, and I can tell you, 1,000 impressions for $1.50 or something. Like, yeah, I mean, that sounds good, but it just doesn't sell stuff. Yeah. And I'd preferred not to have a wrap this year. And I asked my sponsors, I'm like, look, do I have to get my boat wrapped?
Yeah.
And all of them said, no, you don't have to get it wrapped. I had one company, High Protect, they're like, we would like a sticker on we would like a logo on your boat, which I understood, and I put a decal on there. But yeah, that's how it was this year. It's just the majority of the people were like, look, like, you do your job behind the scenes, and we don't have to have a wrapped boat. I put the decals on my truck, but I just kind of left it off my boat this year.
Yeah. No, I definitely think it's something that's kind of an old, I don't know if old's the right word, but kind of a tradition that really I don't see the value in ROI for companies. I think you said that already, but yeah, I mean, I get it. And the elites, they, now it's a requirement for you. So have sponsors, how's the sponsor trail been for you now that you're an elite?
Bro, it is dry as Texas right now. I guarantee it. It is a cruel and brutal world with fishing industry on sponsor dollars.
Yeah.
The current sponsors I've had since college, they have all stepped up some.
Yeah.
I mean, not in a tremendous way, but I'm thankful for what they have stepped up. But I thought that, hey, once I qualified, like, I'm not trying to brag on myself. I feel like I'm a pretty marketable guy.
Yep.
And I feel like I do a good job for the people I work for.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't, of course, like, not a telephone call, not an email. And I was I'm still reaching out to so many people. And as far as the fishing industry, have not made one new partnership in the fishing industry this year for next year.
Wow.
And to be honest, 90% of the emails I've sent in the fishing industry have not even been returned.
Yeah.
Knowing I have the right contact from another source, send them an email, maybe a text message too. But man, it's just no one got back with me, and I'm not so sure if it's not just almost everyone in the fishing industry. I might be wrong, but I understand what these companies are realizing. It's like, man, like, there are, 50 million fishing licenses sold every year.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are looking at term or professional bass fishing?
Exactly.
Probably not. Probably not.
You made a great point, because people always like to talk about all these new licenses sold during COVID, but this is a niche market. Tournament bass fishing is not fishing. Like,
no,
it is very niche. Like, it is not, and it's a small world. Like,
yeah.
And I think the sponsors are just freaking tapped out. Like,
yeah, they are, and then we're splitting them 3 ways through three different tournament trails. I mean, we got 3 times the amount of professional anglers than we ever had. The fishing industry itself is just such a hard place to make a living at. I don't know about non-endemic dollars, like non-fishing industry marketing budgets, because I just don't know that much about it. They could be the same.
Yeah.
But as far as making a living in the fishing industry alone, next to impossible.
Yeah.
Literally next to impossible.
That's that's no joke.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just going to consider bass as the most stable platform. I'm going to be one of those 100 guys next year, and I have been working nonstop for the past 2 months, and right now I have right at my entry fees covered. That's it.
Wow.
And it's like, I asked for X, but no, dude, we can't do that. Here's this. And I'm like, it comes to the point, it's like, well, I almost have to take it because I have nothing else. But once I take that,
you've set your bar.
that becomes a standard for the next person.
Yeah.
That becomes like we all end up taking this little bit where they don't have to give a whole lot. So it's going to have to all be for all of us. It's outside the fishing world. Is selling non-endemic, advertisement in the fishing industry.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That's the only way to survive, dude. You're big non-endemics. You're better off. I mean, I can't say this. I'm not on the elites or anything, but I just feel like I kind of feel like that's what you're getting at. You're better off approaching businesses that have absolutely nothing to do with fishing. They don't even know what the heck you're talking about, but you come at them from a more of, a marketing angle, and just trying to build relationships with people and business owners. And that's a pretty much the only reason I decided to guide full time is because a lot of these people you take out are business owners. Like, those are relationships that carry you, man. Like, they really are. It's so hard. And like you said, they're spread thin. It's just until we're all under one umbrella, it's gonna be tough as a fisherman.
Well, they're also spread thin through the organizations themselves, right? Because these companies, endemic sponsors, are sponsoring not only Bassmaster, MLF, MPFL, they're sponsoring your local Alabama Bass Trail, Bass Champs, Triple T.
Well, don't even get me started on all the free marketing that half of the lure companies are getting from guys that they don't pay a dime.
Well, half the Opens field are running wrap boats that they didn't get paid for.
They don't get a dime, but they will sell their souls and social medias for these companies. I mean, really, if you're a business and you're getting free advertising, I mean, why?
Yeah.
What are you worried about? You got these people doing it for free.
I don't need to pay you.
I mean, seriously.
I got 1,000 dudes
I think that's another component in it. I really do. So it's a crazy world.
Unfortunate world we live in. And, it's one of them deals where they cannot physically track what we generate as far as sales.
Yeah.
And they can put their money into something that they can track, whether that's clicks through Google or how many things they sell to Walmart or other brands or YouTube or links. It's just we can't provide what is actually beneficial to companies. I mean, unfortunate, and I guess what the most unfortunate part is everybody realizes that now.
It's out in the open now.
Yeah.
It's out in the open.
For sure.
No doubt.
But just from when I'm assuming we're around the same age, just based on when you were in school and stuff like me, like just when you started, you can just, at least I think about it all the time, like how different it was not that long ago. Like not very long ago, how different it was, Yeah.
When, go ahead.
It just seemed like when I was growing up, like as long as you caught them, you'll be all right. And I just don't, I hate to say it, I don't think it's that way anymore. I think you got to be a hell of a salesman. I think you got to be a hell of a social media guy, and you got to catch them. Like
if you catch them, it's a bonus.
Yeah, like good job, you caught them. But like, are you posting it? Like you make sure you post it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just I think the sport is starting to. I don't know. I hate to sound negative, but it's just I just feel like it's the truth.
Yeah. One of the contracts that I signed this year, I'm not going to say who, but in the what he was basically pushing for us is like, hey, we're not necessarily looking for space on your truck or boat. What we want you to do is to drop in a bait store and say, hey, man, you need this on your peg on your store.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking when I'm reading this, I'm like, man, is this not what you have sales reps for?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a sales rep. Like, why are you asking me to do
a sales rep's job?
Sales rep's job that he gets paid $50,000 to you, paying me $3,000? Like, I shouldn't have to be going knocking the door to door and putting stuff on a peg for you. Like, I feel like my job is to say, hey, man, when you go in the store, this is what I use. This is what works for me. Go grab it off a peg when you're in there.
Exactly. Yeah, you bring legitimacy. Like you're the product. You're the legitimacy to the brand. You're the legitimacy to the product.
Yeah. It's a weird approach. But I guess if you're going to hire a sales force,
well, at this point, it's like he said, the sponsor dollars are so thin, you just got to do what you got to do, man.
hey, look, man, I don't have enough money to hire sales, so I'm just going to hire you.
Like, you want me to get out there on my front deck of my boat and dance before takeoff? I guess I'll do it. Like, I don't know.
But just a crazy world, man. It's like, in my mind, like fishing these opens, I would be in a financial pinch while I'm fishing the open. And then in my mind, like once I make that breakthrough, I should be okay. Well, now I'm at the same situation, and
a little higher entry fee.
With higher entry fee. Like I'm like, dang, like how many years down the road is this going to take until I get some breathing room? Like it's not like we're working. It's not like we're traveling 10 hours to work for a week, and we know we're getting paid X amount of dollars an hour.
Mm-hmm.
We may work for 10 days and not make $1, and then all of a sudden we lose $5,000.
Yeah.
It would be nice if we could all start out at the beginning of the year, like, hey, I'm going to work this week. If I get paid, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
Instead of like, if I don't, I'm losing money. Like we should all start out the year. I'm not saying ahead, but at least even.
At least even to where you didn't lose any money. Yeah.
It's just saturated.
Yeah.
I think until it's all one, it's just too saturated.
Yeah.
That's just the reality. I think these conversations are happening a lot more too. Like this is a
we've
reality.
Been talking about this for years though, and it's getting
but people are waking up
worse and worse.
Like they're realizing. I'm not saying that they're not going to fill the field. Like of any of them, I think the invitationals will be full. Obviously, BPT will be full. Elites, obviously, opens.
Do you think there'll be more or less? What did we start with this year? 173.
Yeah, I think it'll be close to the same. It might be 30 less, might be 20 more. I don't know. I still think you'll see. It doesn't matter to them because if it's not full of our EQ guys, the other 30 be full from local anglers.
Right, locals.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I do know several guys that are jumping ship from the invitationals. Like I know of at least like 6 or 7 that are going.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And I will say, like this MLF kind of not calling it a mess, but what some of these other guys are doing, like, it's going to bring some legitimacy to potentially like the NPFL.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great for the NPFL, but if you get 20 legit guys go to the NPFL, well, that's another organization that's going to pull sponsor money.
Exactly.
When they start to become more legit, they're like, okay, we have our name on the 30-second ads on NPFL Live and this and that. Like they're just going to cut it another chunk out of all of it. Not putting any blame on the NPFL because they're in a great position. Think that right now they have the best opportunity to make straight cash dollars.
Yeah.
Not so much a media presence yet. But once some guys get over there, they become more relevant as a media standpoint. Unfortunately, people are going to have to fork some more money over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and them jokers right there, I mean, they just, I don't know how to say it. They just, like, they won't go away.
No.
Like, the NPFL has been in
they barely
some
made
bad
it this
situations.
Year. You remember we had Brad Fuller on last year?
I'm talking about over, like, every year.
Yeah.
And then jokers just find a way,
and I think this is going to be their best year. 2024 is going to be their best season.
They're just, I don't know how they've done it.
They survived.
Something goes bad, they pick it up. Something goes bad, they pick it up. And here they are. The rumors are flaring about we're going to have full field. We're going to have elite anglers in it. We're going to have big names in it. Like, so here we go. Like,
well, and they were smart and they waited to release their schedule last so they could schedule around elites and other things.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, they're putting themselves in a good position. I'm not saying this year's probably going to be better than last year, but if MLF does cut those 50 guys, are those guys going to stay loyal fish invitations, or are they going to say, man, let me take a chance of getting paid less but more media presence from the Opens, or are we still going to fish for $100,000 and go to the NPFL?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
they have NPFL. If there was ever a good time, they have hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
If they can hold on for, I say, another 2-3 years, I think they'll be fine over there. I really do.
Yep. They just hold on.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, because people are starting to see the reality of the invitationals and stuff. You know what I mean? Like they're starting to kind of wake up. Like I talked about this the other day, and like I've already said on here multiple times, I'm not going back to the invitationals. And the reality is like they're going backwards. Like I don't know how to say it. Like 2 years ago when it was the pro circuit, I think they took 10. Like when Dakota made it.
Yeah.
And when I fished this year, it took 8. Now they're taking 5. Like we know where this trend's going. Like so, like it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like take it for what it is. But you know, like they allow people to jackpot events. I mean, let's just be real about it. I think tomorrow I could probably sign up if there's an opening. I could jackpot Rayburn to start the year, and I mean, if they let me, like, let's get it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But that's what I'm talking about, man. Like stuff like that is just it's not setting well with people. And they're waking up.
Yeah, there's some shakeup coming. I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be some change.
To me, it's like I'm good buddies with Travis McCormick. He fished the Northern Toyota last year. He actually qualified for the invitationals.
Yep.
And he was pretty pumped about it. Like, dude, I did it. I qualified for the next level. Well, he paid his entry fees, and then I don't know. 5 days later, everybody in the country that fished the BFL got an email with the invite.
No, I feel that. I was in the same exact shoes. Yep.
So, to me, that was a punch in the face to the guys that actually did it correctly. Yeah. I'm not saying the guys that didn't qualify didn't do it correctly at all, but what I'm saying is like, dang, like you worked all hard all season, risked that money in the Toyotas, and you could have just sat at home and fished one BFL and made it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you said. I'm not saying they're going backwards as a business model, but they're going backwards for us anglers.
No,
they're devaluing their anglers.
Yeah, no,
sure.
they made abundantly clear they made money on the invitations this year, or they wouldn't have done it again. I mean, that's just how. I mean,
yeah, that's what they did say. That's why they quit the pro circuit, cut you down to 3 days instead of 4.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. Correct. And now, actually, this new year, they still pay 50, but only take 30 to the final day.
Yeah.
So no championship. But anyway, this is a whole other story for another time.
Yeah,
ain't my problem anymore.
But back to a more positive note. Are you excited? Yep. Are you excited about going to the elites?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to kind of take it. Like, not saying the approach I fished at Classic a few years ago, but like, man, like next year, like I want to enjoy it. Of course, I want to do good, but like, man, the opportunity don't come around a lot. It's like I want to make sure that I'm not popping out gray hairs. I'm not pulling my hair out. Like, I want to make sure that I'm like, dang, like I want to have a good time next year and the year. Like, it's been so stressful. Y'all are in the same shoes. Like, there's so few times when you actually get to enjoy a tournament.
Yeah.
Like, how many times does that happen? Like, the only time it happens if you have a nice bag by 10 o'clock and you're like, okay, let's weigh them in. Like, maybe a handful of days of the year where you're like, dang, today was kind of fun. But the other days were awful. They sucked. They weren't fun at all.
Yeah.
But I think I want to kind of next year try to have fun.
Yeah.
And enjoy the opportunity. You know, of course, fish as hard as I can, but not put a whole lot of stress on myself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to fishing against those household names, getting to know them, and at least having my foot in the pool of the opportunity of hopefully making a living bass fishing full time, whether it's next year or I'm setting myself up for 2 or 3 years down the road. But at least living it, and like if it doesn't work out at the end of it, I could be like, man, I did it. I had a good time.
Yep.
Either I didn't make enough money or I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
You know, one of the two.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I mean, out of the 9 that made it this year, I mean, you'd definitely be one of my picks. I think you're going to have a successful career. I think you're going to do well. I think you're going to catch them.
Yeah, and to me, the most beautiful part of the elites is you're putting yourself in contention to get back to that classic, like a lot better chances,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about, and for, just from the outside looking in, I know you've worked your, butt off, but, to have fished that tournament and now to be on the elites, like you said, even if you had to step away, like, it's been a hell of a, like, I could only imagine.
Yeah.
I could look back and say, that's been a hell of a ride, so
Yeah,
best of
for
luck
sure.
to you, man. I hope you freaking smash them.
Yeah,
Y'all got
appreciate
y'all got a hammer schedule. Y'all gonna be close to home a few times. Sure, on Fork and Toledo Bend, like it's gonna be nasty.
It's going to take some weight.
yeah, looking for it for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We'll cut you loose, and man, I'll be watching. I'll be rooting for you, man.
Yeah, good deal. I'll be on anytime. So y'all need someone else, just give me a call.
We'll do it, bud.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right,
man,
well,
we'll-
good.
All right, good luck to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you, bud.
Yeah, see y'all.
See you, bye.
It's gonna be a long pod.
Yeah, man. Well, we got in some good conversation there.
Yeah, like I really don't.
I mean,
have,
we could have gone down a dark hole. Like I had my gears were turning, dude. I got all kinds of
Oh
crazy
well, no.
ideas,
Man. Honestly, a lot of stuff that I said, like at the beginning before we got John on, I said I was gonna talk about stuff at the end of the show. Hell, I mean, we already talked about it. Like it was kind of cool to get his take on it and just like talked about the reality. Like I said, like the realities of the kind of what's going
Yeah.
on now and how much it's changed. And I mean, I have these conversations every freaking day with people, and it's like getting old.
Well, the sponsor conversation, man, and I appreciate him being candid. I mean, he didn't have to come on here and say, oh yeah, no, sponsors are great. They're just falling in my lap.
It's
He was-
Disney World.
Yeah, he's like, nah, man,
Well, what video did you send me the other day?
that was Jacob Fouts.
Okay, well, he's an Elite Series angler. How
He's
long
going in
is
his third year.
it? Third year.
He's going into his third year. Yeah, Jacob Fouts fishing. Go watch that YouTube video. You want to know what it's, I'm not saying there are not guys out there that are absolutely killing it on the sponsor level. There are. It's a little bit feast or famine is kind of what it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys that are getting those big bucks, they've earned it. They've earned that.
Yeah, they have.
But-
yeah, absolutely.
But it's not you qualify for the elites and you're instantly rich with sponsor dollars. It's not even close to
I don't
reality.
think. I think the biggest takeaway for me is like, don't expect anything short term. Like, this is not a short term. Like, if you're wanting to do this, don't expect for it to be boom, 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 boom. I'm good. Like, catch. No, like, it is a long, daunting road that even now, like, even him admittingly saying, like, we still got a ton of work to do.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you get there, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, there's no guarantees that you're going to stay. I mean, he's going to get 2 years. So,
Yeah, I mean, we've had Gleason on the podcast. Like,
yeah, he said the same
it happens. I mean, these guys are they're all being very open and honest about it now. Like,
As we should. We should have these candid conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think we need to do another sponsor one. I mean, I think that's
basically what this one was.
it was. But it was from his perspective. He had a cool story too here. He kind of come up and like the stories about how close he got each year.
That's insane.
What? That
Bro.
shows you how close it is.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know.
I had to stand up.
If that happened to me, I'd been like, bro, I don't know.
I would be like, Jesus doesn't want me to fish.
Well,
professionally.
yeah.
Like it's not meant to be.
Him or
It's a sign.
Jesus or the other guy. The other guy. I don't know. But, well, how long was the episode?
We're at an hour and 10 minutes.
It's a pretty good one.
It's a good one. I enjoyed.
think
Man, I got to. So the reason I want to have John on too is because we saw each other at things and we talked a little bit and we have kind of similar styles of fishing, so we would see each other on the water a little bit. And super nice dude. We got along great, and that's one of the good things about it is you get to meet some cool people, meet some people that were not so cool. But he's a good one, man. He's a good dude. He's a good fisherman. I think he's gonna have a long career.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously earned it, and I think he will too, just based on. I mean, the dude's he's had a really good run to get there, so I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be watching him and some of the other rookies, but I think it was cool to hear about.
Yeah, hopefully next time we'll have I don't know if actually the next episode will be Chad, but Chad will come.
Are we gonna? Yeah.
I think Chad's gonna come in person.
Oh,
and
he's gonna grace us with his presence.
Got a Toyota Series champ.
He's gonna let me touch that big check. I just want to touch it.
Probably not. He's probably not allowing anybody to even see it.
I just want to touch it.
But yeah, we'll have to talk to him and see how much things have changed for him and his plans. And
yeah, that's cool. Are we gonna do an episode about our boring situation?
No.
I
mean, I don't see why we need a whole episode for it.
I don't know. Maybe people want to hear about it. Maybe they don't. Maybe we just want to spend an hour talking to each other about it.
I'm just kind of like idiot. I'm excited to do whatever's coming. I'm ready. I'm excited to do it, and I'm gonna work my butt off like I always have, and everything's gonna work out like it should.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yep.
Till next time, guys.
See y'all.